Put a finger down if you struggle with infertility throughout your whole 20s. You have 5 miscarriages and 2 ectopic pregnancies. You lost both of your fallopian tubes, so therefore you are infertile and you cannot have any kids naturally. So you and your husband are sad. Y'all are really, really sad. And then y'all decide y'all want to have a family, so you decide to pursue IVF. So you pursue IVF and you spend $1,700 million on having a baby. And then the IVF is successful, so you have a beautiful baby girl. And so you're happy with life. And the doctor tells you there's no need for birth control because you don't have any tubes and you would never be able to conceive naturally. So then you just out here living your best life and you busting it wide open for a real nigga. And so then next thing you know, your period is late and you hungry all the time. But every time you eat, you get sick, and then you wonder like, hold up, wait, this seemed too familiar. So then you just walk through the walk of shame in Target and you buy a pregnancy test and you take the pregnancy test and the pregnancy test say it's positive. And then you show your husband and then your husband be like, oh, nah, hold up, what's this? We need to go to the doctor immediately because they said if you ever get pregnant again, the baby will probably implant somewhere in your uterus and they have to do emergency surgery. So you're in the emergency room and you're sitting and you're waiting and they do a sonogram and then they sit you back in the lobby and they don't tell you nothing. And then they let you sit and sit and sit for hours and hours and hours. And then they finally come and get you and they giving you your discharge papers and you very confused and you wonder, why am I not being rushed back to emergency? And they said, well, you are pregnant and the baby is definitely in your uterus. And you said, but how? Because I don't have any fallopian tubes. And they said, well, we don't know, but you need to follow up with your OBGYN. So you follow up with your OBGYN and you see the baby on the sonogram and you actually are 9 weeks along and the baby is healthy and heart is beating perfectly fine. And then 2 years later, she's here. Y'all be careful out there.
Okay, Ubers need to mind their business because I get an Uber, right? And I'm just sitting there, I'm kind of like rubbing my tummy for some reason. I'm fucking hungry. And the Uber's just like, oh, how many weeks are you? And I'm like, 8. I really am. So I'm like 8 weeks. And then he's just like, oh, kids are a blessing. I'm like, yeah, I know I have 2. And he's just chopping it up like kids are so beautiful. They're a gift of life. And I'm just like, yeah, yeah. I'm just eating the shit. I'm like, yeah, I know, I know. And I agree, they are. But then when I get to my destination and like, and now he's just looking at me crazy. Like, this is your stop. And I'm just like, yeah. And we're just looking at each other like, yeah.
Let me tell y'all what just happened to me. So, my sister calls me as I'm on my way to the gas station. I arrive at the gas station, and while I'm sitting there about to get out of my car to pump my gas, I noticed this lady scouting and looking at people at the pumps. I found that odd, but then she went inside of the convenience store. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, good, she's going inside to ask them for money and not bother me. So I get outside of my car, put my card in to start putting in everything so I can get ready to pump my gas. As soon as I grabbed the nozzle and began to put it inside of my car, she was standing literally right beside me. She freaking startled me to the point where I wanted to kind of give her a 1-2. So I put my hand up like, ma'am, like, kind of like in the gesture of back it on up. Because that's how close she was. Mind you, I'm still on the phone with my sister, but it's on speakerphone. So the lady is talking to me, asking me something, but at the same time, my sister is talking, so they both were talking at the same time. So to diffuse it all, I just was like, ma'am, I don't have any extra money to give you today. So she was saying, no, no, I don't need no money. I need help with the gas. And I was saying, no, ma'am, I don't have any extra money to give you today. So then she says, no, I need help putting the gas in my car. I don't know how to put the gas in my car. So perplexed, I was like, okay, I'll help you in just a second. Because I was still putting gas in my car. Okay. My sister is still on the phone. She's hearing this whole conversation and she just blurts out, no, no, you are not helping her. You are not doing anything for her. You get out of there. No. So me and the lady, at this point, because my sister's on speakerphone, are looking at each other like this. So I finished pumping my gas and I said, ma'am, why don't you go inside and ask the attendant to help you pump gas? She said she already had asked and they were busy. And I said, well, ma'am, I'm busy too. I'm actually on my way somewhere. She said, okay. And then she went to her car. When I got back inside my car, my sister began to explain to me about how there are women who travel and take people, or they will steal from you, rob you, and do all these crazy things to you. and they prey on women because they're thinking, okay, woman to woman, you'll help another woman, which I was going to help her, but my sister was like, no, ma'am. And then my sister told me they usually travel in pairs. I looked back at the woman's car and I saw she was by herself, so I was like, what is going on? So since I finished pumping gas, I went around the pumps to go back into the street, and then I saw the second woman. I was like, wow, this real life could have been like my last day here on this earth. I just thank God because that could have really been a traumatic situation.
I went to the nail salon today for the first time in months. I had an appointment at 10. Gel mani, gel petting. I got there early. I was seated, and I want to say it's maybe like 10:15. I did not realize that the guy who was supposed to be doing my hair is sitting behind me talking. What he was talking about, I don't know. I guess he just wasn't ready to do nails yet. I don't know. But he walks around my table and he's like, color? Not, hey, how you doing? But just color. I told him the number that I wanted. Although it was something I've never gotten before, it was something I saw on somebody else. I thought it was really pretty. So I told him the number, and he starts doing my nails. And when he's painting it on, he only put it on one nail. One nail. I was like, can I look at the other colors? Because I don't think that I like this. He starts huffing and puffing. He grabs my hand, throws my hand, go gets the colors, comes back. And it's like, I was like, I don't know what I did. So I find the color I wanted. He starts painting my nails, and he's taking like the gel lamp, and he's like, I don't know how to explain it. He was like aggressively pushing it like to each side, like every time I had to do my hand. It was 2 times where he scraped my nail with the lamp. He didn't want to fix it. Fast forward, he gets to my toes, and it's obvious that he's using gel color. Like, I know for a fact that he's using gel color. But when he went to go put on my top coat, it was regular nail polish. And so I was like, is this gel? Because he didn't cure anything. He starts huffing and puffing, and the guy who's doing nails next to him, like doing feet next to him, he leans over to him, is saying stuff, and the guy is like looking at me and then looking at my nails. So I'm like, I know he's talking about me. He goes, something, something, something. Bye, Felicia. Rolls his eyes. Was that a microaggression? That's my only question. Was that a microaggression? Or am I just like, am I thinking too much into it? I don't know how to explain it. I feel like in that moment I should have said something and I didn't. Because I really wasn't sure. At the end, he hands me my card like this and walks off. I'm just so like, I've never had an experience like that in the nail salon ever. Was that a microaggression, or am I just, maybe I'm just thinking about it too much?
Amazon finds $16.
In this world, it's just us.